Hello there. Today I wanted to share with you this beautiful brayered embossing technique. I've used it here to make a photo frame, and this one I made just recently. You may have seen this one on my blog. I made this a while back. This frame has the name of my granddaughter embossed on it, so I use it for pictures of her. This technique is really cool. It uses some common but unexpected items. It uses foil tape from the hardware store, and it uses just a plain, ordinary wooden frame or any other kind of object that you can stick the foil tape to. We'll talk more about that later. Some alcohol inks and some simple punches or chipboard shapes to make our shapes. So let's go ahead and get started. This is a plain wooden photo frame that I purchased recently at my local craft store. It was about $1, not very expensive. These particular frames come with this little dowel in the package, and you may look at that and think it's nothing, but it's actually your stand for making your frame stand on a table. And we'll talk more about that and how to use that later. Most of the time they come with some kind of hardboard insert that you'll put behind your photos, so just take that out and set it aside. You'll want to bend these tabs back down flat for now so that your frame can sit flat on your table surface. Next thing we need to do is make a template for our foil tape so that we can get the exact shapes fitted on our frame. And all you need for that is a plain piece of paper. This is just some card that I save when I buy my 12 by 12 sheet protectors. They always come with a white card in them. Place one edge on one edge of your frame, and then just use a pencil and mark the other edge. Next, use a pair of scissors and just chop it off. You don't have to be real precise about this. Well, you do want it to be pretty close, and that's terrific. The next thing to do is simply crease this paper right over that edge. And again, it doesn't have to be 100% accurate. Close is good. Now, I'm not going to worry about using a bone folder here or anything. I just want to get it creased so it hangs on that edge. Now, if we had a square frame, it would be pretty easy to mark the miters. But because we have a rectangle, there's a little special trick that you can use to mark the miters. So let's set this aside for a moment and grab our pencil and a long ruler. Marking the miters, we're going to lay the ruler along one of the miters on one side of the frame and draw a line on the other side. This won't show later. This will be covered up. It's just a guideline. And then repeat on the other side. Lay the ruler along the miter and mark. Next, we'll bring the beginnings of our template back in and line up the edge right with the edge of the frame. Bring your ruler back and line it up right on this corner and then along the line you just drew. So on the corner and along the line. And then go ahead and draw a line. And do the same on the other side. And now you have your miters marked exactly where you need them to be. Next, we're going to cut this out, but I want you to cut just slightly outside of that line that you just drew. This will give a little bit of overlap so that when we add our template, our foil to our frame, there's absolutely no chance of any of the wood showing through. Definitely don't want any wood showing through. So you can see just a smidgen outside the line, and if you do that on both pieces, then you'll have an overlap double that thickness, and that'll be great. So next, place your template back on your frame. Line up your edges again. And use your thumb to just crease the inside edge of your frame. That's it. Just crease the inside edge. You can take it out, fold it to make it flat. That's fine. Now you want to take a look at your frame and see how thick this inner edge is. My frame, it's less than 1/4 of an inch. It's not very thick at all. If it's thicker on yours, take that into account for this next step, where we're simply going to cut this off. Here's about the thickness of my frame, and I'm going to allow maybe that much, again, to wrap underneath the frame. Cut that off. You can see I'm not particularly worried about getting this straight. It doesn't matter. You'll see why in just a moment. So I've gone ahead and cut out the other template as well. If you have a rectangle, you'll have 2 different templates. The next step is to take these templates and cut out our foil tape. So let's set aside the frame for a moment and pull out the foil tape. This is a roll my husband had down the basement. I've been told that this can be found at places like Home Depot, the hardware store, near the duct tape. This says Nashua tape. So the next thing you want to do is lay your template on the tape and go ahead and trace it. Lay the long edge along the edge of the tape. Now this frame is 1.25 inches wide, and it's perfect for this tape. We don't need it to be any thicker than that. But if your frame needs more, just go ahead and make multiple templates, overlapping them just slightly, like maybe 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch. Make multiple templates to cover your whole frame or piece that you're going to be decorating. You may think that the overlaps won't look good, but they're going to be very much hidden under layers of alcohol ink. So once you have them traced, and you can go ahead and do them like this. You can see I've already cut out the rest of mine. Nest them together. I highly, highly recommend, strongly suggest you use non-stick scissors to cut out this tape. It is extremely sticky. Very, very sticky. And it will goop up even your non-stick scissors, but it will be very difficult with regular scissors. So go ahead and cut that out and make that just a little more straight. And now you have your foil pieces cut out. You could see I have 2 cut from each template, 2 from the long and 2 from the short. And we'll set that aside for now. And we'll also set aside our foil tape, because the next step is to decorate our frame. So let's take a look at what I've done with some of the other frames. On this frame, I used some punched butterflies, so I used this butterfly punch. I used a punched flower to cut out the flower. I used the Sizzlet's Bounce alphabet to cut out this word, a scrap of cardstock to make the stem, and the leaves are actually the centers from the D. And that was all. On this frame, I used the Sizzlet's script alphabet and the smaller leaf from the Sizzlet's Jungle Leaves die. So you don't really need a lot. You can certainly dig through your collection of punches and dies and die cuts to find what you would like to decorate your frame with. One thing to keep in mind is that this frame can go like this. You can have pictures that are landscape oriented, or you can have pictures that are portrait oriented. And if you're going to put words on, keep in mind that which way you're going to put it. Also, make sure you take a look on the back. The little hole for this little wooden stand will be at the bottom. So make sure that you orient it the other way. Otherwise, well, I suppose you could drill another hole, but why make extra work for yourself? Or this way for portrait. Now, if I hadn't kept that in mind, I may have, when I was laying this out, I may have put the joy going the other way. And then when I put it this way, it would have been upside down. Another thing to keep in mind that I wish I had thought of before I went ahead and made this one but you can benefit from my experience, is where the overlap of the tape is, it slightly distorts the letters. I don't know how. It's not bad. It's not a huge deal. But if I had thought of it, I may have moved this over to here or down to here so it wasn't going directly across the seam. The same for this leaf. I may have moved it just a little. This one doesn't bother me so much. It's not really a big deal, but something to keep in mind. So I've gone ahead and selected a few of my other dies that I like. One of my favorite dies is Tim Holtz's Elegant Flourishes. So I've gone ahead and cut these out of cardstock. You don't want to cut these out of something too light. You want it to be a little bit substantial. I think these ones will be too big for this frame, but they'd be really pretty. I saw some other frames with a lot more surface area. But I think I'm going to use these. That's kind of pretty. And also I used the Keepsake dragonfly die to cut out some dragonflies. I think maybe just 2 here and here. And I suppose I could center him right there, and then he wouldn't look so strange with the extra bolt going across him. I'm not sure about that. Think about that. And then I also used Tim Holtz's Keepsake strip. This is his Vintage Market alphabet. And I'm just going to toss these on here to spell out the word family. This is a terrific product because with one pass of the die you get an entire alphabet. Another one that I was trying to use and thought would be fun was Tim's Caged Bird die. I love this one. I've used it on many different things. I don't know that the cage really conveys the right thought, family, a cage. Well, maybe not. I think I'll set that aside. But I was really trying to figure out how to use the bird. However, keeping in mind what I said earlier about turning the frame this way, I thought the bird, I couldn't figure out how to make him work. But you know what? I don't know that I really like this word going sideways, just this font. So I may go ahead and make an executive decision that, let's see, that this frame is only going to be landscape oriented. Oh, and here's this little wing. I think I'm going to do that because I really like the bird a lot. Keep in mind when you're laying out your pieces that they will be cut off at the edges. So just keep that in mind. Like this one's going to be actually 2 separate pieces when it's cut off. So the next thing you need to do is take a glue stick, and you just need a little bit of glue. If you make gobs of glue, like big dots and blobs, they will show a little bit under your foil tape. So don't get gloppy. You just want to stick these down so that they don't move. The foil tape is going to hold them in place permanently. You just want them to stay while you're gluing, while you're applying your foil tape. So go ahead and find your die cut pieces and glue them down to your frame, and then we'll come back and I will show you the rest of the steps.